prevent floods with surveys, how their data gathering informs flood preparation. Also, DeForest is celebrating spooky season. We'll take you inside the haunted library and meet some pretty special guests. And do you remember trading cards with your friends back in school? Well, now you can see how this hobby is still alive and well. We'll take you to the Madison's Card Show. That's all coming up on News 3 Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. We'll get to all those stories in just a second, but first, let's go ahead and get a look at your first one forecast with meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze, I've been cold a good chunk of the day.
Yeah, we've definitely had to put on our jackets here at work. It is going to be another chilly night, but not as cold as where we have been. No frost advisories or no freeze warnings. Temperature is going to be a little bit on the warmer side, especially off towards the Mississippi River Valley, where we're likely going to be sitting underneath more partly cloudy conditions, mostly clear further to the north and east. We're starting to chip away at that cloud cover, and that's going to continue as we head overnight. So further north and east, that's where temperatures will likely get to around freezing. Further south and west, thanks to the cloud cover, probably going to hang out in those upper 30s to low 40s underneath clear to mostly clear conditions. Looking ahead to Sunday, far different than where we were today. More sunshine, breezy at times, and warmer. Temperatures back into those upper 50s to low 60s. Now we are tracking some rain in the forecast. We'll take a look at when that is set to arrive and of course what the latest forecast has in store for us for Halloween. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, sounds good, Blaze. We'll see you then. In Roxbury, a driver is in the hospital following a single vehicle crash. Officials say the crash happened just after 2 p.m. this afternoon. A driver had rolled over their car at the intersection of U.S. Highway 12 and State Highway 188 near Ganser's Motel. No one else was in the vehicle. Police say the driver is currently conscious and alert. In Beloit, a food pantry is urgently asking for donations following a big spike in families in need. Messiah Lutheran Church food pantry is open on the second and fourth Thursdays of each month. Operators say it serves an average of 70 households each time it opens. Last Thursday, it served 108 households for a total of 40% increase in people served. Those who run the food pantry believe the surge is in large part due to the government shutdown, which is decreasing essential benefits. The pantry is now lacking critical resources to serve local residents. If you wish to donate, you can contact the church at 608-365-3794. Again, that's 608-365-3794. The growth of sports cards and other trading cards around the world has been spiking significantly in the last few years. And earlier today, our Nash Dara checked out the 2025 Madison Card Show.
The Alliant Energy Center was host of the 2025 Madison Card Show. Let's take a look at some of the hundreds of dealers and thousands of cards that showed out. From baseball and football to Pokemon and basketball, thousands of cards were on display for buying, selling, and trading at the exhibition hall at the Alliant Energy Center, bringing in a community of collectors to grow and support one another.
The biggest thing is just developing relationships with dealers, so the customers and the people that are out here buying and selling and trading, you know, have a good selection of dealers to choose from, whether it's sports, Pokemon, memorabilia, whatever it might be, to have a nice diverse range of collectibles for the public to enjoy.
Trading card growth has been significant in the past few years, but for some people, it's been a part of their entire life.
I just turned 60. I've been collecting since I was 12. I was 18. I started selling a little bit, local shows in Baraboo, where I'm from. Then it's an eBay hit back in the late 90s, and I started doing a little bit of eBay. But shows are much funner because you can interact with the people, and you can barter your prices and stuff like that.
Yep, 15 total, yep. I started in 1975. My dad, once in a while, would bring packs of baseball cards home as a kind of a surprise, and that's kind of just where the love started. And since 1975 on, I've been in love with baseball cards.
The ever-evolving hobby has been around for decades, but the blend between the old and the new has brought out diverse collections.
I got a little bit of Pokemon because that's very popular right now. 80s stuff, 90s stuff, 2000 stuff.
So Pokemon, it's skyrocketing right now. I don't even know where it's going to end. I just know that there's a lot of profit in it.
When talking profit and money, there is definitely that involved in the trading card world. especially when talking about Michael Jordan rookie cards.
It's a $12,000 card. That's a $8,500 card. That's a $6,500 card.
Now, Troy made the decision not to trade one of his Jordan rookie cards for my camera, but it was still a great time. At the Alliant Energy Center, Nash Dara, News 3 Now.
Nash, thank you. The event expected over 2,000 people to stop by and held about 150 to 175 separate dealers. Nash, again, thank you. Here in Dane County, the Capital Area Regional Planning Commission is working to prevent floods in rural Wisconsin. Through surveys of public road creek crossings, a team of the commission is able to put together a detailed report of the bridges and culverts. This helps smaller communities who may not have the resources, give them a better understanding when it comes to preventing severe storm damage.
So what we're able to do with this data is inform the towns about the condition of their infrastructure to help them prioritize and make informed decisions about where to focus first to improve that infrastructure so that they can safely pass big stormwater events.
The goal is to keep towns in Dane County aware and prepared for potential severe storms. In addition to safety measures, the project also documents fish passages and stream health in the region. The DeForest Public Library got their scare on early this year with their Haunted Library event. This afternoon, people were invited to make their way through the library's spookily decorated basement. And if frights got a tad bit too much, don't worry, because a certain ghost-busting group was on the call. Mad City Ghostbusters, headed by Scotty Rourke, is Madison's own ghost hunting group. They bring scientific equipment all across Madison on the hunt for paranormal activity, often with fans.
We have a tendency to stop at Quick Trip, which is not really just a plug for that, but we like to hang out there and get our big gulps and off we go. When we get there, then all of a sudden everybody's around getting their picture taken and checking out the vehicle as we're there, because Scotty's daily ride is the Ecto 22.
Today, the group brought along plenty ghost hunting equipment to show off. Also helping out with the distressing of decor was the DeForest Area High School Drama Club and Scouting America Troop 35. And today's events just didn't stop there. Ghosts and Ghouls took to Sun Prairie at a parking lot, not just to hunt, but to give out some treats. The city's 6th annual Trunk or Treat took place outside the youth baseball complex, bringing families together for an afternoon of spooktacular fun. There was entertainment, games, and of course, plenty of candy being passed out by local businesses and organizations.
So we focus on the local businesses, but of course it's open to anybody in the greater Madison area. We put out just like a form. People can sign up. It's free for businesses to get involved, and it's just a really great way, and it's a win-win, to get exposure for them, but also to bring in the community and make something special for everybody.
This year, the city also paired with Sunshine Place Community Resource Center to gather donations for their food pantry. And coming up next on News 3 Now at 10, Blaze returns with a complete look of your First One forecast. Plus, the president announces new tariffs on Canada as he enters an almost week-long travel stint. Plus, inflation of tariffs is impacting Halloween spending, what consumers are doing to adjust.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Tonight, President Trump is on his way to Asia for a 3-country trip. He left Joint Base Andrews last night for the nearly 24-hour journey. Late today, he announced new punishing tariffs on an ally. CBS's Willie James Inman is at the White House with new reporting.
We have a lot to talk about with President Xi, and he has a lot to talk about with us. I think we'll have a good meeting.
But one leader at the meeting getting the cold shoulder, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney.
What they did is really dishonest.
Trump abruptly ended all trade negotiations with America's second largest trading partner after the government of Ontario ran an anti-tariff TV ad using the words of one Republican president against another. President Ronald Reagan's words from a 1987 radio address.
But over the long run, such trade barriers hurt every American worker and consumer.
The ad still playing this weekend, seen by millions watching the World Series. Ontario says it will stop on Monday, not soon enough for Trump, as he says he'll add an additional 10% tariff on some Canadian goods. As the government shutdown reaches day 25, millions of workers are without pay, but Trump says a mystery donor gave $130 million to pay servicemen and women, despite legal and ethical concerns.
He's a great patriot. He really is.
Presidential power also being flexed at the White House. The East Wing of the White House now demolished. Soon to rise, a $300 million, 90,000 square foot ballroom, funded by private donations. Preservation experts were not consulted.
And so we're now in this predicament where there's no case law or anything that really advises us on this.
And the president denied reports that he will name the ballroom after himself, but the commander-in-chief is not done yet, saying that leftover funds from the ballroom could be used to fund the construction of a commemorative arch near the Lincoln Memorial. Willie James Inman, CBS News, the White House.
And as the government shutdown drags on, the USDA says it will not tap into its contingency fund to cover food stamp benefits next month. That's according to a memo obtained by news outlets, which also says states will not be reimbursed if they use their own funds to pay for the benefits. The memo says the $6 billion funds are, quote, are not legally available to cover regular benefits. As a result, roughly 42 million Americans will not receive critical food assistance from the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as SNAP. Last week, Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins said food stamps will run dry by the end of the month if the lapse in federal funding continues. A new treatment option is coming for women dealing with hot flashes and night sweats related to menopause. The FDA has approved Linquit, taken once a day. Unlike other therapies, the drug does not rely on hormones. Instead, it's designed to block brain chemicals that trigger symptoms. More than 80% of women experience hot flashes and night sweats during menopause. A clinical trial found women trying Linquit saw a 73% reduction in symptom frequency after 12 weeks, compared to 47% for those on a placebo. The drug will be available in the U.S. starting in November. This is the second FDA-approved non-hormonal drug therapy to target the brain pathway linked to hot flashes. This October, scary costumes and movies are not the only thing spooking Americans. More than half say they're cutting back on their Halloween spending due to inflation and tariffs. It's haunting candy aisles too. CBS's Ali Bowman is in New York to explain.
Mitchell Cohen knows what makes Halloween sweet.
Cookies and cream fangs and ghost toast.
And as customer orders ramp up, this Candyman is ready.
Halloween is our Super Bowl. You know, this is our busiest month of the year.
He's the third-generation owner of Economy Candy, the oldest candy store in New York City, started by his grandfather during the Great Depression. Keeping candy affordable is in his blood. This year, the costs are scaring him.
We are feeling it, but we hope that, quarter to quarter things will change. We're hoping to stave off raising prices for as long as we can.
Over the last 5 years, overall candy prices have surged nearly 37% due to inflation, tariffs, and weather. Cocoa alone saw a 310% increase in price last year due to droughts in West Africa. Still, Americans are expected to spend nearly $4 billion on sweets this year.
Oh, I didn't understand.
Yeah. Leanne Rod and her family from Nashville expect to spend $50 more than last year for about 400 trick-or-treaters.
Trying to buy more, probably, I'd just say, give them more, like the sugar cane and less the chocolate. It's cheaper.
Rebecca Rickert with Empower, a financial services company, surveyed 2,000 Americans on Halloween spending.
People are still getting ready for the celebrations, but they may be pulling back in some areas, like buying smaller sized candies or changing what's in the treat bag this year.
Cohen says his store is eating some of the costs.
£5, same price it was before the pandemic.
To attract new customers and keep regulars happy.
I had customers come up and thank me for not raising prices like everybody else's. And it's great to hear, and it makes you feel good.
Experts predict candy prices may start to lower as soon as Valentine's Day because weather has improved in the regions that grow cacao. Ali Bauman, CBS News, New York.
Now let's go ahead and get a look at your first one forecast with meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze, as we get closer to Halloween, what should we expect?
We can expect cloudy conditions, seasonal temperatures. At least for now, it's looking like next week is going to be cloudy, temperatures in the 50s, and maybe some rain there Tuesday into Wednesday. That's all after a very sunny and warm, not only Sunday, but Monday as well. Back into the upper 50s to low 60s to end the weekend. Winds are going to be out of the southeast. High pressure continues to dominate the weather over the area, which is why further north and east, not only tonight, but tomorrow as well, will be more sunny. Further south and west, not only tonight, but into tomorrow as well, a little bit more cloud cover. This is the edge of this high pressure system that is keeping our next rainmaker off to the west, at least through the end of the weekend into the start of next week. So sunny, warm, and breezy at times for Sunday. Winds are going to be out of the southeast, and we'll see more mostly clear conditions on Monday. Mostly sunny and again slightly breezy, maybe not as warm, but we still are going to remain dry on Monday. It's starting Tuesday that this low pressure system begins to move out of the Dakotas. But the northern area of low pressure falls apart because, again, this high is still very, very strong. What could be happening is on the edge of this high pressure system, we see a secondary low center develop. And all that means for you at home is it's going to pull this moisture further to the south as we head further into Tuesday into Wednesday. If that second low center develops further north, say towards the cities, La Crosse, or even further north, then we could be dealing with more of that rain further into Wednesday. But by Thursday into Halloween, we'll likely be drying out. So for now, this is assuming that that low, secondary low, develops to our south, pulls the moisture further south as well. We're looking at maybe a quarter to a half an inch of rain over the next 7 days. If that secondary low develops further north, we'll get maybe a little bit more rain. Not eyeing any washouts, but certainly more rain would be more beneficial for us before the ground freezes. Now, in terms of temperatures next week, while we will be cloudy and back to more fall-like, we're staying pretty seasonal. Maybe a degree or two either way, warmer than average or cooler than average. But Jalen and folks at home, we're not seeing any big warm-ups or cool-downs. So it's going to be pretty quote-unquote normal next week. There's that rain Tuesday, again, possibly lingering into Wednesday. And actually that comes at a great time because that would move out and then bring in another high pressure system, which would keep us quiet Thursday and then further into Halloween. So actually that rain Tuesday kind of comes at the best time. And then we start off November in the upper 40s to low 50s underneath a mix of mostly sunny to partly sunny conditions.
The aesthetic of fall when it comes to like the temperatures and the leaves and everything came a little late, but I'm happy we're finally getting into this time of the year.
I got tired of the heat. Yeah. When we got to like 90 at the start of the month, it took a lot out of me.
I'm with you on that one.
I'm thriving in this.
This is my favorite season. Yeah. And October is my birthday month, and on my birthday I was like sweating.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, because my birthday's October 3rd, and it was
I think we got to 90.
Yeah, and I was like, what is going on? I'm supposed to be,
a late birthday treat.
Right, I'm supposed to be in like an overcoat, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some gloves.
Your birthday wishes came a little bit later this year.
Just a smidge.
Yeah.
So hopefully fall continues a little bit longer. We can hold off that S word.
It's coming.
That you enjoy so much.
It's coming.
But yeah, definitely looking forward to enjoying the rest of the season.
Same.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Blaze. And coming up next, Sports Director Andrew Bandstra joins us with the recap of the Wisconsin and Oregon game.
6 losses in a season used to be unheard of for Wisconsin football, but heading into their 8th game of the season, it seems like a sure thing this year. The Badgers went to Eugene this evening to play 6th-ranked Oregon, and last week I told you that Wisconsin lost and it could have looked worse, but it didn't matter. But this week it kind of did, if you're looking for moral victories. The defense did look pretty solid this evening, but the offense was beyond anemic. The defense could only do so much. In the 4th quarter, Oregon takes a 3-score lead. Janoris Wilson does his dance on the Badgers. Through the rain, Wisconsin's Hunter Simmons suffered, completing just 1 pass for 12 yards through 3 quarters. But then there was light. Simmons throws up a prayer for Eugene Hilton Jr., who comes comes down with it. Offense, yes, offense. And then finally, for the first time in 15 quarters, Wisconsin scores a touchdown. But honestly, I shouldn't be so excited about this. The Badgers, they do lose their 6th straight, 21-7, the final score. Staying on the college football front, but to the Division III level, it's the one we wait for every year, the George Christ Memorial Bowl, as UW-Platteville makes the trip to UW-Whitewater. Historically, this rivalry has been all Warhawks, but the Pioneers, they've won the Miners' Axe in 2 of the last 3 seasons. And to make matters even better, both teams ranked inside the top 10 nationally. Whitewater took a 14-3 lead in the half, but Platteville, they came pickaxing back, trailing 14-12, 3 minutes left in the third, and Nathan Usilding finds Trevor Seisey to take the lead. What a catch, but the Warhawks, they weren't going anywhere, leading by 3 halfway through the fourth, and this would be the dagger. Justin Klinkner puts it on Blake Haggerty, one of his 2 receiving touchdowns on the day, and the axe comes back to Whitewater, where it will stay. The Warhawks, they win it 29-19. To the ice, Wisconsin women's hockey hosting Minnesota State early on, and how about Cassie Hall? KK Harvey shoots. Hall there for the rebound, her 9th goal in 9 games. Worth another look, just sneaks it past the keeper, and then later it is the freshman, the one, the only Adela Shapovalov, the freshman's 4th goal of the season. It's pretty rare that a freshman is going to have that much success early on, and the Badgers, they win it 4-0. And Jalen, I know it was raining in Eugene, but I'm not sure it matters that much. 12 yards through 3 quarters in 1 completion is simply unacceptable, and there's no reason I should ever have to be so excited for the first score in 15 quarters. I mean, this is Wisconsin football, a program that has respect, or at least very much did in the past.
I mean, to your point, this is FBS football. Not only is it FBS football, it's Big Ten football. I mean, silver lining, as we talked about a little bit off camera, they got on the board. Hopefully we can build on top of this, but we'll see.
And the defense, they were respectable this evening. You didn't see it with the 21 points, but some young guys really stepping up. A couple of freshman linebackers, Cooper Catalano and Mason Poza, really impressive.
All right, well, sounds good. Thank you, Andrew. A final check of your first one forecast is coming up when we return. So, Blaze, you know, today we had to break out the jackets.
Had to break out Banster back.
Right. Yeah, how about that? It was so cold. We needed Andrew back in the studio on the weekends. But what should we expect as we enter the last part of our weekend?
Sunny conditions, so we'll say goodbye to the clouds and warm on up. Upper 50, to low 60s. Plenty of sunshine, winds out of the southeast. Enjoy it. We'll be back there Monday, but rain does move in on Tuesday. Cooler temperatures as well, but we dry out. And for now, look to remain dry for Halloween.
All right, well, sounds good. Thank you, Blaze, and thank you, Andrew, and thank you all for joining us this evening. Seinfeld is up next.